Hey, what's the haps everyone? It's Noe and once again
Hello
coming to
there.
you with Diablo PTR 2.6.9, the Necromancer build. It's a pretty cool build. I like it. It's a six-piece build with the helmet, the shoulders, the gloves, the chest piece, and pants with the boots. I'm running a different spec on it, I guess you would say. It is what I'm calling kind of like the implosive build. And I'll go over that right now. So we're all familiar pretty much with the new Masquerade of the Burning Carnival, and for those of you who are not, I will go ahead and read the set bonuses real quick. The Sacralacrums no longer take damage, gains all runes, and its cooldown is refreshed when you die. So every time you die, you'll get a refreshed cooldown. They no longer take damage, so they'll basically stay with you forever, unless you take more damage, and I'll explain that in a second. The 4-piece bonus set, while you have a sim, damage is reduced by 50%. Damage you take is split with your sims as well. So as you're taking damage, the sims will basically take damage, and if you take too much damage, then your sims will die. So you don't want to take that much damage. So you kind of want to be ranged, or you want to be tanky. My build is kind of tanky. And then the 6-piece bonus set is basically your bone spear deals 10,000 increased damage, and your sims gain triple that bonus. So your sims are basically hitting for each bone spear about 30,000 increased damage. So if both of them are hitting, if I'm doing the math right, if both of them are hitting the same target, that's 60,000, possibly more. I could be off of my math. I'm not exactly sure how the mechanics work, but either way, if they're doing 30,000 and you're doing 40, that or 10, that's 40,000 per hit if you're hitting the same target, which is a lot of damage. Okay. Then I'm using Brig's Wrath, and that is basically anything that's uncursed gets pulled to the center, so it's like a vacuum or like that implosion, and that's really important because it pulls everything towards you, and that helps with another skill I'll get to in a second. And then Crispin's Sentence is basically, right now, I'm dealing 81% damage against slowed enemies, or triple this bonus against enemies afflicted by another type of control impairing effect. So I'm doing a couple different control impairing effects to make sure that Crispin is sparking. And one of them you can see is Bane of the Track, which basically gives me that movement speed, or that reduces the movement speed of the targets by 30%. So that is one controlling effect. Okay. And then going to, I skipped over the Ancient Path Defenders. Each stunned enemy within 25 yards reduces your damage taken. I'm going to go over why that's important too, because this is like a huge tanky damage reduction build. And then from there we've got the Haunted Visions that's been changed. Your sims now drain 1% of your life for every second and last forever. So that's what I'm saying with this bonus set. Your sims will basically last forever, so if you're not taking too much damage, they'll stay with you for a long period of time. If you're taking a lot of damage, they're going away really quickly. And since it's like 122 minutes is like an eternity on here, so you want to make sure either one, you have a lot of cooldown reduction, or two, your sims just don't die. They can now duplicate the Grim Scythe instead of Skeletal Mage. So instead of them doing Skeletal Mages, they're doing the Grim Scythe. I'm not using the Grim Scythe because I don't know. Why am I not using Grim Scythe? I'm using Siphon Blood for cold. Oh, it's just for the Crispin Sentence, I guess. But I guess I can go ahead and do Grim Scythe. We'll do the Frost. Okay, so that's fixed. Alright, and then the belt, I'm using Vigilante Belt, and that's just for the cooldown. There's probably a better belt, like gain additional 40% damage reduction. I'm using Cryptify. I'm not using Cryptify. I probably could use Cryptify instead of... Nope. Well, let me explain why. I could use that for extra damage reduction, but I'm not. This is what I'm using. This is where it gets weird, but okay, but bear with me. So, I'm using Shadow Hook now for... For every point of maximum essence, increase your damage by 0.5% Bone Spear, and it generates 2 additional essence for each enemy hit. So, let me back up a little bit. Let me explain what is going on and why I'm not using that belt, why I'm using Vigilante belt. Vigilante belt is basically just for cooldown. My main concern is getting the dislocation up so that way I can stun them. When I can stun them for 2 seconds, and the way everything is set up, they basically melt, and I'll show you in a second. I'm using the Petrified Spike. Bone Spear now costs 40 essence and deals 700. So now here's the thing. Bone Spear normally costs 20 essence, so now you're doubling it. So by using this, the bones. Oh shit, that's the wrong thing. Well, wait. Okay, hold on. Bone spikes generate 2 bit additional for each enemy hit. Okay, that's wrong. Alright, so I don't know why that's on there. Let me go back to this. So we got that. Sorry about that, guys. Why was that on there? I gotta find a shield real quick. Or some kind of phylactery. Let me buy one real quick. That's so embarrassing. I'm kidding. Let's just go 2 of those. But I still kind of like that, even though I'm not using that. For every point of maximum essence, increase your damage by 0.5%. Bone spikes generate additional essence. Did I do the wrong? I did the wrong one. Let's see. This one is that one. That one. Same thing. That one. I forget which one of these are which. That's weird. I thought. I don't know. Grim Sight, additional blah blah blah. Your cold skills, movement. That might work. Yeah, your cold skills reduce the movement speed. Reduces movement speed. Okay, I'll use that. Okay. So let me rephrase that and let's go back over. So, secondary skills are basically going to do 400% more damage, plus the Petrified Spikes doing 700 damage, so that's what? 1100%, as long as Bone Spear is up. Now, or not Bone Spear, but Bone Armor. Now, the only problem with that is that it just reduces the time by 4 seconds, which is a bit of a problem. Especially since my cooldown reduction is only 38.67%, which isn't very high at all. And you're probably wondering why I'm using Ice Climbers, gain immunity to freeze or immobilizing effects. The reason why I'm using it is because I'm using the Stone Gauntlets as well. Gain hit increases your armor by 50% but reduces your movement speed, so basically the Ice Climbers nullify that secondary effect and just gives you 50% armor reduction when you're getting hit. So that's really important because obviously you don't want to die, but at the same time when you're getting hit, that armor is increasing, so it's making you stronger each time you're getting hit and you're not being paralyzed by it at the same time. So if we go to my skills real quick, I'm just going to wrap this up real quick, it's kind of dragging on. So I'm using the Bone Spear, I don't know why I see Bone Spear. Bone Spear gives you 500%, so it's 500% plus the 400% plus the 700% plus the 10,000%. That's a lot of percent, and then the percent increases for each enemy that's that the Bone Spear passes through. So that's a lot of damage right there. Grim Scythe, just for cold, just because this is such an essence drainer, just in case I run out of essence trying to kill an enemy, I have something to regenerate that. From there, the Bone Armor for dislocation, also for crisp and sentence, so that way I'm doing more damage by the targets that are affected. Devour is basically to help reduce that essence drain, so that way I'm not losing so much essence each time I'm casting. And then Aura of Frailty is basically just giving me that curse so that way Brig's Wrath procs, pulls everything into me, and then I'm hitting with the Bone Spear, everything, the spears are passing through them, they're taking massive damage, and then also anything less than 50% is automatic melt, they just die. And the Sacrolacrum doesn't matter which one you choose because you have access to all runes on the Sacrolacrum, on the set. Passes, I'm using Rigor Mortis. It's basically just helping with reducing their attack speed. It's basically an imperative effect, which helps with Charisma Sentence. Final Service is basically you can get that one hit. You know, you just drop to the ground. That gives me a second life. Serration is basically help increasing the damage by 1.5 yards for every enemy that's 1.5 yards away from me, up to a maximum of 20%. So anything that's not in my immediate circle is getting dealt with, you know, a lot of damage, plus that additional 15% from the bone spears that are passing through them. And then overwhelming essence, you can put, some people are using bone prison. I mean, it's 30% chance. I'm sure there may be something else on here, but just to give you a little bit more of a pool in your essence, you know, I'm just using that, so it increases it by 40. So I think that's about it. I mean, damage isn't terribly high or anything like that, just like straight off the book. But I'll clear some of this out real quick. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and there it is. So ooh, that's doing a lot more damage. I might switch that back. Essence. Every point of maximum essence increase your damage by 0.5%. Let me go ahead and do this and see what happens. And if it turns out it's not, well, that's my damage. Toughness. Alright, let's see what happens. Let me just run an 80. Yeah.
I wish you luck, hero.
Screen should insta-melt almost.
Do not fear the end.
So,
I'll be
I
telling
was wondering why my
stories
Sims
about
were
that
lag.
for
I
a
must have took a
while.
really bad hit back there somewhere.
Weakness consumes you. That needs to recharge. Your death nears. I must wait. Give it more time. The night embraces you. Give it more time. Your death nears. That needs to recharge.
By all that is holy, you see that enemy over there?
The Rift Guardian is here.
Yeah, so this is why that's
I need aid.
feed off.
There is
Overall,
no
not bad.
room.
My name is Earth. I am skilled at clarifying
I'm sure they're
dreams.
probably gonna change some things maybe and take some things out and put some things in. There's nothing augmented on my character, just a rank 64 on the Enforcer and baited the trap to rank 30, so it's nothing too wow or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. I like it. I like the other build. I hope that they don't change really too much of it up. Because already everything is dominated by the Legacy of Dreams. So it'd be nice to have a set that could kind of like run parallel with it, and you don't have to use the Legacy of Dreams all the time. You can use something else, because geez, what's the point of having all these other sets and all these other skills if it's only just going towards a certain thing? But that's just my rant. So thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, and I will definitely work on my video editing and my content to make sure that I am bringing you the best stuff, the most epic videos that are out there ever. Alright, latest.